Yeah, let's watch some Nick Fuentes react to some of his stuff. You don't have a YouTube channel. He's banned from that, but other channels restream his content. So I'm gonna react to a reaction of Nick Fuentes, and this is about was Charlie Kirk. People think a lot of people are thinking Israel's behind it. Now, of course, I think so too. So let's see what they got to say.
To me, it is very unlikely that the Israelis had it out for him because, well, why would they? Charlie Kirk was a steadfast ally of Israel for his entire career.
True.
Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel explicitly, publicly, steadfastly for years, right up until his death. That is the sober and realistic fact.
Yep.
So, the question is, why does everybody believe that Israel was implicated last week?
Because he started the red pill.
There is a narrative that has been promulgated that Charlie Kirk was on the verge of a great conversion.
Yep.
The narrative is, in light of the record of history and where Charlie Kirk was in his journey, the argument goes that this year, recently, in response to recent developments, like the turning of Candace Owens, the turning of Tucker Carlson, the genocide in Gaza, and the beating of the war drums
especially
in
someone
Iraq,
they're grooming for presidency after Vance.
that Charlie Kirk was undergoing a change of heart. And that there was an interior and a private struggle. That Charlie Kirk was changing his mind, and as a result, he was chafing with his Jewish donors.
The proponents of this are citing how, before his death, he was venerating the Virgin Mary. In one of his videos, he was attending Catholic Mass. Remember, his wife is Catholic. And according to Candace Owens, she posted a video, I believe yesterday, her show, she said she showed a text message exchange with him where she said that he's too smart not to be, Catholic, right? So, and then I'm sure Nick will get to it later, but there's the infamous, I wouldn't say infamous, but there's an article by Max Blumenthal in the Gray Zone where he covers some very intriguing information.
Max Blumenthal. That guy's a good journalist. And a Jew, by the way.
He was created by Jewish donors. He was funded by Jewish donors. Jewish donors were his patrons. And so the story goes, like many of us, we are all in a different place in our journey, and some have awakened later than others. Charlie Kirk, like anybody, was discovering the truth. And he was having a faith awakening, maybe converting to Catholicism, recognizing the tension between religious Judaism and Christianity, or the brutality in Gaza with the tenets of the gospel, and also an ideological conversion, realizing that a Israeli capture of American foreign policy is in complete contravention of an America First foreign policy, which he advocates for. And so the story goes, Charlie Kirk was changing his mind on these issues. He was expressing it privately. He was telegraphing or signaling that the ship would be righted and that he was beginning to resist the most zealous, fanatical, demanding Israel First donors. And the prospect of someone so powerful like Charlie Kirk, particularly among the young right-wing conservatives of America, it was too much of a risk for Israel to tolerate. So they took him out before he could leave the pro-Israel plantation and take
that's what
all
I
the
think.
young conservatives with him.
Let's see what the great Nix
The
thinks.
story goes that they eliminated him and perhaps set up somebody like Ben Shapiro to take his place.
So we would call this a preemptive assassination, if you believe in this theory. So like I said, it comes from Max Blumenthal. He wrote two articles. The first was on the 12th, the second on the 15th, both in the publication known as the Gray Zone.
When the false flag occurs, and it will, You hope it doesn't, but it looks likely. When the call for a war in Iran becomes deafening, they will have someone reliable.
Yeah, reliable.
Someone
Ben Shapiro.
predictable. Someone that they have certainty.
And Charlie Shirk, he's just too smart. You know he's gonna know that something's wrong. You know, yeah, you can be fooled for a while, and you think, Christian Zionism, you believe because you believe in Christian values, and you think it's all interconnected, those two. But he's the type that figured out that Christianity was a hoax of the Jews to begin with. And I think that, it's got to be. If you take someone out, they must have inside information, inside knowledge, to the point where they listen to his most intimate conversations, that this guy is really questioning, and he could figure out the whole thing and blow the thing wide open. I mean, kind of like Nick, but Nick, I don't think he's to the point where, because he's a Catholic, he don't realize that the Jews invented his whole damn religion, to water down Judaism. To water down, it's Judaism for Gentiles. He doesn't get that yet. So when's Nick can have his red pill about Catholicism?
Why take a chance? Someone that they are certain will toe the line and push America and its youth to support a war. That's the story. Now, what is the evidence for this narrative? Well, there are some public examples. There is a video from October 2023, 2 years ago, where Charlie Kirk takes out his frustration at secular Jewish donors that support left-wing causes, like mass immigration and social liberal causes. And then they expect that young white conservatives will turn around and support the Zionist cause. This is a clip from 2 years ago. There are other clips, like a recent interview with Megyn Kelly in August.
That one's good.
Where Charlie Kirk is clearly...
Yeah, the one with Megyn Kelly is probably the one that did it in, because he's being really frustrated with still, hey, I'm an Israeli supporter. But you're calling into my... You're calling to my moral character. You're questioning my moral character. Just simply because he, is questioning certain things. So, yeah.
Frustrated, visibly frustrated and perturbed at how he has been a defender of Israel, considers himself still a defender of Israel, and yet there is a powerful chorus of stakeholders, leaders in the pro-Israel movement who are not just disagreeing with him, but viciously attacking him and impugning his motivations, calling him an anti-Semite. In other words, Charlie Kirk is saying, is it not good enough that I'm an ally, I'm listening, I've supported you for years? Not only is it not good enough, but now you attack me? You say I'm evil?
How do you...
How dare you?
Of course these guys are the enemy. Everything Israel. Anything Judaism.
Yeah.
Nobody acts like this.
Perturbed. He looked like he was in fear. He looked like, very distraught and emotional with that Megyn Kelly interview. And I believe he even said that he's getting more heat for...
American. Born and raised.
I skipped all those interviews, or those segments with Charlie Kirk talking, because I'm sure you've seen them a million times. I don't want to make this video too long.
Is in Arlington Heights in the suburbs of Chicago.
I just want to hear what Nick's going to say.
Christian. And wow, he might have cut deals or made compromises or went with the program before. Now that this Israeli agenda is truly coming into conflict with what it means to be an American and a Christian, now he starts to buck the expectations of his foreign patrons or handlers. There's a bit of moxie. There's a little bit of, he seems to be emboldened. If you're a young, powerful guy, you don't want to take orders from people. If you're Charlie Kirk and you're 31, and you got the world on a string, you're the bag man for the GOP, you run with the president, you travel the world, you run the conservative movement, there's a little bit of swagger. There's a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. Does a young man like that want to take orders and be lectured and berated and attacked? Meanwhile, he's getting it from the other side. He's getting every groiper and every 18-year-old asking him about dancing Israelis 100 times a day. I'm sure at that point he's extremely frustrated. And that shined through in his Megyn Kelly interview in early August of this year, just a month ago. People take that as evidence. Just a couple of days before he was gunned down, he interviewed Ben Shapiro. It's actually just the day before. He interviewed Ben Shapiro about the situation in Gaza and asked some interesting leading questions. He asked Shapiro if we can trust what the media says about Israel.
Ben's like,
he asked if
how
what
dare
Israel
you?
is doing can be considered an ethnic cleansing. He asked if Israel created a PR problem for themselves in America, and why can't they end the war more quickly? And so people say that there was clearly this public inquiry. If he wasn't taking an explicitly anti-Israel stance, he was signaling. He was becoming candid. He was becoming emboldened. He was venting that he did not like what the Israelis were pushing, and he did not feel like the Israelis had the authority to push him. So there was this quiet rebellion that was happening maybe inside of his interior life. Maybe he was having private conversations with his friends like Steve Bannon and Candace Owens and Dave Smith and others who have intimated that there were similar conversations like this, and that this was starting to express itself outwardly in these media appearances. What's more, famously, at his SAS Student Leadership Conference in the summer this year, he hosted a debate on Israel between one of the Israeli Zionist propagandists, Josh Hammer from Newsweek, and Dave Smith, who was calling Israel warmongering, genocidal maniacs at a Turning Point conference. He hosted Tucker Carlson. And at this conference, they both admitted that Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent. That's the public evidence. There's also private evidence of a revelation. Privately, there is a piece by Max Blumenthal at the Gray Zone. This is the only source for it. Max Blumenthal, a Jewish leftist at the Gray Zone, has reported that private sources, anonymous sources, allegedly friends of Charlie Kirk, have come forward since his death, and they say that Charlie Kirk was becoming afraid. He did disagree with the Israel lobby on the Iran policy, on the Gaza policy. He wanted to go against the program, but he was afraid. The Israelis were not happy with him. They were offering him money. He turned it down. They invited him to Israel. He turned that down too. They talk about a meeting in August where Bill Ackman, a billionaire Jewish donor who is connected to Israel and Jeffrey Epstein, they say that Bill Ackman effectively gave him a ultimatum. This is how this is being characterized. I'm not claiming this. But Candace Owens and Max Blumenthal have characterized this meeting based on conversations they had with him and other attendees of the meeting, that in early August, Charlie Kirk met with Bill Ackman, a Jewish billionaire, and others.
Get a $150 million infusion into
Josh
the
Hammer,
Turning Point.
and they staged
Turned it
what
down.
they characterize as an intervention where they berated.
You already know what's going on. Yeah, that's nail in the coffin, man. Turning down $150 million infusion into your little, Turning Point organization. And then refusing to go to, get rehabilitated in Israel and go, kiss the wall, visit the Holocaust Museum, the stuff that everybody has to do when they start questioning a little bit. They invite you down to Israel nicely. Hey, come on down to Israel, buddy. Let's you're gonna have a little wake up call, You're gonna be okay. Let's just show you a couple things here, and you think about it. What You think about what you're seeing, what we're gonna show you. Oh man. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought was gonna happen. So, I think it's pretty clear. Of course, they're gonna have their little patsy, their little fall guy. They always do. This is just another Oswald. So, what are they gonna have? Nothing? Oh, we don't know what it is. You're gonna have to pin it on some schmuck. Jesus Christ, duh. Anyway, it's cool. I'm gonna do another video of some music now, but I'll do that separate.